Okay, let's talk about the Bulls, who have won 8 games in a row. They're the 1 seed in the East. Are they contenders? Well, even if they're not, it's okay. I mean, this is the best they've been in a while, and I think it's cool to just enjoy the moment if you're a Bulls fan, but still, it's a conversation to be had, right? There has been a bit of talk about should they trade for pretty much Jeremy Grant with the names listed as Patrick Williams and Kobe White. I'm pretty sure Derrick Jones Jr. would have to be in that trade or else the money wouldn't work. But the idea is that while Lonzo and Caruso make their defense awesome because they fight around screens and hound ball handlers like crazy, you could still use some more size when you're going up against the Bucks with Giannis and Middleton, or the Heat with Jimmy and Bam, or the Nets with Kevin Durant. So there could also be the potential of playing Jeremy Grant at center, and then you got some more switchiness and more trapping potential, although they would be pretty small with Jeremy Grant at center. It's a tough conversation. I mean, Patrick Williams could end up being better than Jeremy Grant within 2 or 3 years. He could also just effectively be Jeremy Grant in 2 or 3 years. In that case, it's like we're just maximizing our chances now. I don't know. It depends on what the Bulls think of him long term. Kobe White's been talked about a bit in that move. Same thing. What do they think of him long term? Would they even have the best offer for Jeremy Grant if they wanted him? I don't know. You could also insert Harrison Barnes into this conversation. I think a lot of the same names are still talked about. The one reservation I do have, though, with them potentially trading for one of these wing players and not just getting someone on the buyout market, is that DeRozan, Levine, Lonzo, and Caruso are most likely locks to be in the crunch time 5. So if you want to play the guy that you traded a bunch of stuff for, well, somebody else that you like is going to have to sit, and is that trade-off even worth it? The one potential thing would be if Vooch is just getting torched on screens. I mean, he has stepped up on screens more this season, but maybe he just can't be out there. You go to Grant, but then again, you're really small at that point. To think about this offense versus the top teams, right? What happens if Drew Holiday decides to spend all of his energy slowing down DeMar DeRozan? Is DeRozan just built like that to where he can just get to his spot, which now is 14 feet, whereas it used to be 20 feet, and get to his turnarounds and all that over Drew? Are they going to have to work to get Drew switched off of him? You can replace Drew with Jimmy Butler for Miami or Thibault for the Sixers. I just want to see how that all looks. I mean, the Bulls, they've had some extra offense besides just your DeRozan, Levine pick and rolls and ISOs. I mean, of course, you've got Vooch making plays out of the short roll. You have Lonzo, who's always looking up for transition opportunities. And also he just makes random skip passes in the half court where most guys don't even think there's a play there, but he sees it all the way. They've had pin downs for Levine. They've had Levine screening for DeRozan. They've had Levine acting like he's going to screen for DeRozan, but then he just keeps running to the three-point line. I think against these really good defensive teams, especially the Bucks, if they run into them in the playoffs, you're just going to need that stuff. If your offense is going to become DeRozan ISO, please make this tough shot, I think there's a ceiling on how far you're going to go in the playoffs. Then again, DeRozan's been so good this season, maybe it works. And everything I just said about DeRozan, you can say about Levine as well. It will be something to see how teams deal with Vooch when he's spotting up and the Bulls are just spaced out. Because, of course, it opens up the potential for driving lanes and cuts and all that. Will teams choose to just let Vooch shoot and live with that? I mean, of course, we've seen the Bucks have that mentality, and I'm sure they've been willing to experiment more, Giannis at center, more switching and all that. But I don't think it's a coincidence that they still lead the league in opponent above the break 3-point attempts per game. Now, as far as how can the Bulls defend these top teams in the East, I mean, it comes back to Lonzo and Caruso, of course. I can definitely picture both of them bothering the hell out of everybody on the Sixers not named Embiid, and even then, maybe Embiid a bit, because they'll be swiping in as he's posting up and all that. To think about them versus Miami, I mean, both of them have a decent size advantage on Kyle Lowry, and if they're not allowing Lowry to get off of any screen comfortably and they're picking him up full court, that could wear him down as the series goes on between them and Miami. As far as if they find themselves on Jimmy, I mean, yeah, it's not going to be as easy for him because Jimmy's a tank. Which again brings up the conversation of should they trade for a bigger wing. To think about the Bulls guarding the Bucks, I mean, the first thing you always think about with guarding the Bucks is, are you putting your center on Giannis? And if that's the case and Vooch is guarding Giannis, then those Middleton or Drew Giannis screens, they get a little frightening. I mean, again, Vooch has been stepping up on screens this year, but is he ready for that whole thing? I don't know. Now, if you've got him stepping up and then you have Caruso or Lonzo fighting around the initial screen, that could create some pressure on Drew or Middleton, who I assume is the ball handler here. However, you give Giannis any ounce of daylight and it's 2 points or it's a 3-point play. So it's tough. I mean, if you're not going to have Vooch defending Giannis, then, I mean, you might just not have enough size at that point to where whoever is on him is just screwed. Of course, you can always leave somebody open. That's what teams kept doing to PJ Tucker to try to guard the Bucks in the previous playoffs. Now, as far as the Nets, could the Bulls defend Brooklyn? I mean, if Kyrie is playing every game and James Harden is back to peak Harden, then no. But that's not an insult. Nobody can defend that. Now, if it's Kyrie every other game and it's, 75-80% James Harden, he has been better lately, no doubt, then that's a little more interesting, but I don't know, man. The Nets shot making is just obscene. So anyway, at the end of that whole spiel, do I think the Bulls are contenders? I mean, if I have to pick, no. I still think it's the Bucks, Nets, and everybody else in the East. But, number one, what the hell do I know? Number two, it's still a massive turnaround. And just because they've exceeded expectations and they've changed the conversation of, oh, can they be a decent playoff team to, wait a minute, what's going on here? That does not mean we should forget about the initial thing,